Hey, Mike here, producer behind ZERMELO, and we are going to try to recreate that epic piano part. Here it is. So bouncing back and forth with the original and my recreation. For those of you that just want to get the info and bounce, you can screenshot the MIDI here. And here is the patch and the processing. It's the Piano 16 in the M1 Korg. And you can see I've only changed the ensemble hall reverb down to 10 here. And for the rest of you, let's go ahead and recreate it. So here in M1, I'm just going to go to Program, Browser. We're going to go to Pianos, Piano 16, double click, and Insert Effects. I'm just going to come over here to the ensemble hall and drop this down to 10. For the chords, we're going to switch over to 16th notes. It's already on a 16th note grid, but just thought I would mention it. We're going to start with an A minor triad. The song is in the key of A minor. Just 8th note duration here. We're going to do ACE for 135 out of the A minor scale. We're also going to double the E here and drop it into the bass. And there we go. And then we're just going to put these on the beats here. And then we're going to do a 3/16th note rhythm. And that sounds like this. Also just going to bring the velocity all the way up. The next chord is a G sus. And no, that's not Jesus. That is short for G suspended 4 chord. So we'll just start out with a G major triad, which is GBD 135 out of G major. We're also going to drop the D down just like we did with the A minor into the bass. And the only way that we need to change a G major into a G sus is to take the third here and pop it up to the 4th scale degree from G major, and now that sounds like this. All right, and then we just need to drop this guy down to the B. That's going to be a little resolution for the suspended note here, but that sounds like this. Cool. Next chord is going to be a F major, so it's going to be the exact same rhythm. F major is just going to be FAC 135 out of F major. Same thing, we're going to take the 5th here, drop it down into the bass, and that sounds like this. Awesome. And the final chord is just going to be another G sus. There's a couple weird things going on with it, which is interesting, but let's go ahead and recreate that. So it's going to be G, C, D. We're going to take the 5th, drop that down. Now the weird things here in this last chord is we're going to take these first 2 notes here and duplicate them down into the C. And that's interesting because the rest of these notes have been 4 voices, but these 2 chords right here are 5 voices. Kind of interesting. And finally, the only other variation is we're going to take 2 notes here and resolve the suspension right there. And so all together, it sounds like this. All right, and just walking through the processing here, I have some parallel compression with the glue. What this is doing is bringing the body of the sound up while preserving the original transients. You can see it's a very fast attack. We've got a 400 millisecond release here, and the dry wet is a 42%. All right, next we have an EQ. You could just copy the settings, but here's before and after. Just giving it a little bit more weight in the bottom, dipping the mids a little bit, and then boosting the top quite a bit. There's also an 8th note delay on the original, and I couldn't recreate it using Ableton's, so I used Echo Boy from Sound Toys. You could see here with the cheap tape style, this has a little bit of a nicer top end to it, but you could see here the mix is at about 27.4, the low cut 0.4, high cut 0.25, no feedback, and that's pretty much it, just 8th note delays. And just a little bit of saturation here, 3.72 dB if you want to recreate this exactly. And that was pretty close, but it still needed a touch more EQ, so I had to get a little bit surgical here with Pro Q. You could see I'm just doing some dips here, -6, Q18, and just take a note that these are on specific notes. So here we have G, and this is on D here, and then this is just a little bit of a dynamic EQ too. And then finally, just a mid dip here with a bell, and then we're increasing the slope on the bell, and so that's why we're able to get that kind of like flat bottom there. And finally, we are using the saturator here just to bring up the volume, add a little bit of grit, and kind of round off the transients. You can see I'm driving at 7 dB. I'm lowering the bass here so that the bass notes of the piano aren't causing too much saturation or distortion, and just have an output of negative 0.5. And altogether, let's just see what this does. So let's turn it off. Turn it on. So definitely makes it louder, but also just completely brings it to life. And then once again, let's just compare back and forth with the original and the recreation. I hope that helps. If you have any questions, leave them down below in the comment section. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.